Turning now to the coronavirus pandemic. You may now be able to visit your loved one again at a nursing home, but research shows that those with dementia have regressed a disproportionate amount in a year's time due to isolation during the pandemic. As Local 5's Eva Anderson shares, coming back to visit a relative who may seem like a totally different person is a heartbreaking reality for so many Iowa families.
She's very proper, but she is feisty when she needs to be.
Feisty, clever. That's how Clara Peterson has always known and loved her grandma Marilyn.
She will just have the wittiest one-liners.
But that spark started to dwindle when dementia took hold. Then the pandemic. Marilyn was isolated in her nursing home in Sac City.
She would become very sad.
And so would Clara.
We really didn't know when we would see her and if we would see her again.
In the meantime, Marilyn had no visitors and she didn't understand why.
When I would call her, she would say, at the end, you really need to come visit me. Maybe when you come visit next time, we can talk about this more. Either we tell her, hey, there's a big scary virus that we can't come and risk her being scared of that, or we let her believe that we're just not visiting her.
Abandonment so many Iowans were feeling up until the moments they may have died. But for those who survived, Dr. Elaine Eschbaugh says it's a feeling that can stick around for a while.
Their reality is that they've been abandoned by their families because no matter how many times someone explains it to them, it's just not going to stick.
And studies are now showing that the cognitive and mental health of adults with dementia has declined a disproportionate amount over the past year because of that isolation.
Just that level of acceptance is going to take a little bit. But it's really important because your loved one may never be the person they were before the pandemic. And to be honest, we've all been somewhat changed by the pandemic.
When Clara's mom was able to visit Marilyn again, she was a different version of herself, even looking different.
She's a little skinnier now, and her hair has always been super short to her head, and now it's long and stringy. And it's honestly just a physical representation of the last year.
And though she knows the visits may never be the same as before,
there just becomes a time when you're like, I need to hug my grandma.
Clara's just grateful she'll soon have that chance to hug her again.
That was Eva Anderson reporting. If you are still having a hard time visiting your loved one in a nursing home because of restrictions, the state long-term care ombudsman wants you to know your rights. Local 5 spoke with Cynthia Peterson, who said according to federal guidance, outdoor, window, and indoor visits should be accommodated. She says if they aren't and working with the center doesn't help, it may be time to call her office.
People are reaching out to our office to assist with resolving issues such as facilities placing an age limit on the visitors that can come in. Also, any interference with the visits, such as we have heard that there are situations where the facility will come into the room where the visit is taking place to ensure that social distancing is going on and things like that. We look at that as a bit of an interference with the privacy that needs to be respected during a visit.
You can reach their office to register a complaint at the number that you see right there on your screen. That is 866-236-1430. State public health officials have recently confirmed a COVID variant from the United Kingdom is in a long-term care facility, with some of the confirmed cases detected among Iowans who had either been completely or partially vaccinated. Over the weekend, a third long-term care facility was listed in outbreak status. As of today, 29 total cases have been reported among long-term care residents and staff, according to the state. Well, to put things in perspective, there are currently 3 long-term care facilities experiencing an outbreak right now. The first reporting a case back in December. Now, we don't know which facility had that positive. What we do know is the Urbandale Healthcare Center has 17 cases. The Good Samaritan Society in Ottumwa has 7 cases, and Parkview Manor in Washington has 6 cases.